Good morning, 6th grade, and happy St. Patrick's Day. We are going to start with our first lesson today, 10-4, on inequalities. I'm going to try to do this like I would if you were in class. Obviously, we're not going to have that back and forth with questions right now, but you will be able to ask me questions if you have any problems after we go through this. I will work on getting you the extra practice answers that we had for homework the last time that we were together. So look for those to be posted on Google Classroom too, so you can check those to make sure that you did them correctly. For this, what I would like you to do is pause it, work on these warm-up questions, and then when you're done with them, I'll go over the answers with you. One thing I want to point out, these look like they're two-step equations, but really you are combining the like terms, and it's just a one-step solving for these equations. What you do have to remember, what they're throwing at you right now, is all of your rules for positives and negatives. So remember, when you are adding and subtracting positive and negatives, if it's one of each sign, you're finding the difference between the two and taking the sign of the number that has the largest absolute value. For multiplication and division, you are two of the same signs gives you a positive answer. One of each sign gives you a negative answer. So you have to keep that all in mind when you're doing this. I'll work through the first one with you. So you'd add 21z to both sides. So you would be left with 12 equals negative 27 plus 21 is a negative 6z. So now you just have a one-step equation, but this is a negative, which means you have to divide by the inverse of multiplication, divide by a negative 6, divide by a negative 6. Z is then going to equal a positive 12 divided by a negative 6. So you have one negative sign, which is going to give you a negative answer. 12 divided by 6 is 2. So your answer is going to be z minus 2. Remember, when you're working these, I didn't have enough room to work all the way down. When you're working these, keep your equal signs on top of each other and show your work so that you make sure you can go through these correctly. So that's your first one worked out. Go ahead and pause the video and work on your second ones, or your second, third, and fourth one. Okay, so here's the answers. Hopefully you've worked those all out. We did the first one, so our answer was z equals negative 2. Second one is n equals negative 3. Third is y equals 14. And the fourth one is k equals 1/2. If you had problems with those, pause the video, go back and check, see if you can figure out where your mistake was. And again, you will be able to ask me questions through Messenger if you have any problems with these. Okay, we're going to skip that. So today we're going to learn to read and write inequalities and graph them on the number line. Here's our vocabulary: inequality, algebraic inequality, solution set, and compound inequality. So we'll just go through these vocabulary for you. And keep in mind, you can pause this at any time if you want to write down. You can follow along in your book just like you would in class. You can write things in your notebook. This is actually a benefit. Instead of me having to stop, you can stop me whenever you need to. So an inequality states that two quantities either are not equal or may not be equal. An inequality uses one of the following symbols. So I know we've all had these before. Is less than, is greater than, is less than or greater than, is greater than or equal to. Is less than or equal to, or is greater than or equal to. And here are some phrases. You need to make sure that you understand these, okay? So make note of them, refer back to them. I'm sure they're listed in your book, so when you're doing your homework, refer back to them. Is less than, far or fewer than or below. Is greater than, more than, above. Is less than or equal to, at most or no more than. Is greater than or equal to, at least, no less than. So keep those in mind, because there'll be problems, word problems, that will have these, and you'll have to equate each of these to the right inequality. So write an inequality that contains a variable. An inequality that contains a variable is an algebraic inequality. And again, anything with a variable, we're talking about algebra, right? So an algebraic inequality. A value of the variable that makes the inequality true is a solution to the inequality. We've done that before too. We've plugged in numbers. Is that true? Yes, it is. So that's a solution. It's the same thing with inequalities. An inequality may have more than one solution. Together, all the solutions are called solution set. Because you have x is greater than 3, that's not just one number that's the solution anymore. It's not just equal to, it's greater than. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 7.5, 8 3/4, right? All those numbers above 3 will be a solution. So that is a solution set. A compound inequality is the result of combining two inequalities. The words and or are used to describe how the two parts are related. So we'll go over those at the end, but that's putting two of them together into one inequality, compound inequality. So write an inequality for each situation. There are at least 15 people in the waiting room. So how many people are in the waiting room? That's what they're talking about, right? At least 15. So here's our inequality. Number of people is greater than or equal to 15. Could there be 14? Nope, not according to at least 15. Could there be 16? Yes. So that is what makes this true. The number of people has to be greater than or equal to 15. Is 15 a solution? Yes. That's why there's an equal to sign there. Okay? The tram attendant will allow no more than 60 people on the tram. So the number of people has to be less than or equal to 60. No more than 60. Could it be 61? Nope. Could it be 59? Yes. So pick a number and see, is that true? Then you can double check to make sure that your inequality symbol is correct. There should be no more than 10 people on an elevator. No more than 10. Could there be 11? Nope. So the number of people has to be less than or equal to 10. There must be at least 20 people signed up for the class or it will be canceled. At least 20. What if 18 people sign up? Then that doesn't work, right? So the number of people has to be greater than or equal to 20. Notice all of these have the equal to sign. So that means that 20 would work. If it was just greater than 20, 20 wouldn't be a solution to the problem. Now we're graphing. Now we've already graphed on a number line before, individual numbers. So now we're working on graphing the inequality. If, when we did it, we had a solid circle because we were talking about an equal to sign. If it's equal to, then that means that number counts. So the circle is filled in. If it is an open circle, like it is here, that means that number does not count. So you don't have it filled in as a solution. N is less than 3 means open circle at 3 and everything below counts. Now when you do these number lines, they have this directly on the number line. My suggestion to you is to draw your number line like this and do it just above. So then you can see that you have that line where here it's like double thickness, so you can kind of see that it's there. Do it just above your actual number line and show. That's how you should do your graphs in your notebook. Use the line of your paper so you can make sure you have that straight number line. If you are struggling with a straight line here, use a straight edge. You know how much I love straight edges. So you have an open circle at 3 and the arrow goes to the left. N is less than 3. Is 2 a solution to that? Yes. Is 4 a solution to that? No. Okay, so 4 is not covered. Here's another one. this is a weird inequality. I don't know why they wrote it like that, but that should be greater than or equal to. There, A is greater than or equal to 4. So we draw our number line, and we're, okay, so that 2 is supposed to be a negative sign. They messed up. Greater than or equal to negative 4. Solid circle because it has the equal to symbol, right? And then our line, and I'll put it right above like I want you to do. And then our line goes this way because it's greater than negative 4. So negative 3, negative 2, negative 1, 0, those are all solutions. So everything that's covered by that number line. Now we're including an arrow at the end because we could go all the way up to 100, right? But we're not going to draw a number line that long. That would be crazy. So that's how you would do that. Graph each inequality. This is just some more practice. So number line again, open circle because negative 1 is not included, and then it's less than negative 1. All the numbers to the left would be less than negative 1. J is less than or equal to 0. They must have had problems writing these, but it should look like that. Closed circle because it's an equal to symbol, and then less than would go to the left of 0. Just like that. Don't forget your arrow at the end because it could go on forever. Now here's graph each compound inequality. This is an OR compound inequality. So think about this. M is less than or equal to negative 2, or M is greater than or equal to 1. So they're going to graph each of these separately. There's this first one, right? Closed circle at 2, the arrow goes to the left. Then they're going to graph the next one. Open circle at 1, the arrow goes to the right. Because this is a compound and they wrote these together, the value of M has to be this or this. So there are two separate ones that they're going to put onto a common graph. Notice when you have an OR inequality, you have some kind of space in the middle because there's some solutions that are, or there's some numbers that are not a solution to the problem. So you have negative 2 to the left, and you have 1 to the right, and that's your solution for an OR inequality. OR inequalities are always going to have arrows that go in opposite directions. Now when you're doing your homework, you do not have to do them on two separate graphs and combine them. I am okay with you drawing an appropriate number line for both of them and just putting them on there together, okay? Doing them separately just helps you recognize how they interact with each other, okay? So here is a compound inequality. Notice we don't have the word and, but we have the variable right in the middle of our inequality. So this would be read, B is greater than negative 3 and B is less than or equal to 0. Okay? Even though you don't see that and, when you see the variable in the middle of two inequalities, that's a compound and inequality. So notice they're going to graph this by reading this variable first, going this way, and then reading it going this way. Okay? So first we're graphing B is greater than negative 3, open circle, goes to the right, right? Then they're going to graph the second one, B is less than or equal to 0, open circle, and goes this way. Now, let's just, I'll let them go ahead and finish it so you can see it. The part where they overlap is the solution. Because it's an and, it has to fit this and it has to fit this, right? So look at this overlapping portion. That's the only portion that both of those stipulations, both of those inequalities are the same. So those are the only solutions that fit both of those parameters. So this is the only part you have to graph. So as a trick, you can say, I'm going to find negative 3, and I'm going to put an open circle, right? because there's no, I know that my ending point is -3 and there's no equal sign. Here, 0 is my other side, but I'm going to close that circle up because it's an equal sign. Then I know because it's an and inequality, it's just the point in between. The points in between. Okay? So you don't necessarily have to graph both of these and find that. You can graph them on one number line. This is to show you one inequality covers all of this, one inequality covers all of this, but the only part that is true for both of them is that part where they intersect in the middle. Now again, if you're struggling with this at all, pause the video, maybe look in your book, maybe go back, listen to me explain it again and see if it clicks, okay? You have plenty of time to figure this out. Wait, did I miss one? I think so they didn't give us the inequality there, but this says graph x is greater than 4. So we have an open circle, arrow goes that way. Then it says graph x is less than 5. So you could do that here, right? Open circle on 5, and it goes this direction. So look at the point where they overlap. That's the only point that you actually have to graph. So the common solution is just this section. Okay, so I'll go back here. I don't know why they didn't actually give us the, again, they messed up. We know this book makes some mistakes. So this would be x in the middle. X is greater than 4 and less than 5. Greater than 4 and less than 5. And that's our common right there. Whoops. So that's our solution. Okay, so that was graphing inequalities. That was graphing compound inequalities. And that was some vocab about inequalities, algebraic inequalities, and solution sets. So that's what I've got for you today. So for your homework, what I would like you to do, and I will post this also in writing on the Google Classroom, 12 through 34 even, and 35 through 38 all. 38 will be your extra credit. We'll still do that. If you have any questions, you can private message me. I would rather not have the group chat going on. I kind of messed up when I put that in material because I didn't realize that you couldn't private message me on there. So if you guys want to talk about math questions, we will have that ability to do that. But I would rather not have all the chit chat back and forth on the Google Classroom that maybe does not have to do with math necessarily. So I'm trying to make sure we don't have that problem. So private message me if you have any questions. Again, happy St. Patrick's Day, and I will send you a new video tomorrow. Thank you.